coverage. Now, a lot of you realize with football season starting, it means only one thing. This man, Lee Sterling, back with us following a very busy summer for him from Paramount Sports.com. Apparently, I was in New York when Lee was there. I found that out a couple of days ago when we were chatting and catching up on things. But you look like you are rested and ready to go for a very big college and pro football season.
I am. And with all these different quarterbacks, it seems like, and players, changing because of the transfer portal, I think it's an advantage to me because I don't mind sitting there watching spring games and getting the edge. A lot of people, I think it's going to take other handicappers or the public 3, 4, 5 weeks to get going. I think I'm going to be able to hit the ground running. So I'm excited about that because, as a former college quarterback, that's the most important position. If you got the edge and you know how these players, I think, are going to produce, you can start off quick.
I love that. Hey, by the way, Sun Bowl is expected to be a sold-out crowd on tomorrow for North Texas. If I get a really good picture of the Sun Bowl stadium, can I send it to you so you can make it one of your featured backgrounds for all of those classic YouTube videos that you put out throughout the season?
I'll find out. It has to be in a certain resolution.
Okay.
There's some we can use, some we can't. But in fact, I'll talk to my website guy. He's in the other room when we get off. And when he tells me what resolution we need, if we can get it done, if you get a good picture there,
we'll get you a good one.
Certainly send it along, and I'd love to include it.
Well, in about 4 weeks, UTEP's going to be hosting Boise State, and that's got a chance to be a monster game. So what better to talk about the UTEP-Boise game that week than having the sold-out Sun Bowl background for you and Paramount Sports? It's perfect.
There you go. Winning combination.
I know. It's how far we've come. It really is. It's been great. So we've got games going on this weekend. Yep. We're going to be talking about 4 of them in particularly. So why don't we just get busy and kind of kick things off with the first game of our 4, Utah State and UConn. Now, the fun part about 0 week is you get these crazy matchups that you would never normally think about. That's why Utah State is a 27-point favorite over the Huskies.
And they take care of business when they're at home. How about this? Last 22 times at home, 18-4 against the spread. So tough place to play. They score, and UConn doesn't score. 15 points per game last year. So I can't see any way that Utah State is held below 40 points. I mean, UConn's defense is horrible. Jim Moore got a little bit of a head start. He was hired 4 games with 4 games left last year to be an analyst, and then they ended up hiring him as the head coach. So gives him a little bit of an edge. But it's a graveyard. That college right now, that college football program. I just can't see them going anywhere. At one point, they went to an Orange Bowl a decade ago, but those days are long gone here. I think Utah State lays one on UConn here. I think they win and cover 51-14.
Is that one of your favorite games this week?
As long as the line stays under 28, yeah.
By the way, how difficult is it to play games when you're dealing with 4 touchdowns? Because doesn't it almost make you worry that when garbage time comes around, you'll start to see second, third stringers, and that line can fluctuate a little bit as the score kind of gets into that fourth quarter?
Of course. I'd rather have a game under 10 points, but sometimes you see, 40, 50-point blowouts.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, game number 2, just up the road in Las Cruces. They're also expecting a capacity crowd at Aggie Memorial Stadium for the first game of the Jerry Kill era in Las Cruces. Aggies hosting Nevada. The Wolfpack, 9-point favorites over the Aggies in this one.
Doesn't bode well for Nevada when your coach leaves and he goes to a rival school in your conference, and it's not even a school that's very good. So they got to totally rebuild this program here. In fact, I'm hearing as many as 6 players on their 2 deep or walk-on. So that's a real problem. This line started 16 to 17 points as a favorite here. for Nevada. Been bet all the way down to like 9 points here. Jerry Kill knows how to build programs here. One of the top coaches. He was at Northern Illinois. Then he moved on to Minnesota. He was having seizures, had to step down, but very well respected, undisciplined program last couple of years. There was one game, they had 3 hits out of bounds on players for late hits. I mean, he's going to change all that here. He's got a slew of guys. Probably 80% of his roster will be JUCOs or guys coming in the transfer portal. I like New Mexico State. I think they might even pull off the upset here. Wrong team favored here. New Mexico State wins outright over Nevada here, 28-24.
Lee, when it comes to picking with new head coaches, what kind of challenges do you face there? Because there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to new coaches trying to build a new program.
Well, with someone like Jerry Kill, you know what he's done. You can look back and look at the first 2 years, and he has a history. You know, the new coach in Nevada, even though he had been there at certain times, it's tough. I mean, and they're behind the 8 ball. Just getting the plays in, calling the plays in. You can do it in practice, but in game situations, totally different. And first year coaches, the first game usually very tough.
Lee Sterling with us, ParamountSports.com, as we continue. Moving on to game 3 now. Vanderbilt, usually a bottom feeder in the SEC, taking on Hawaii. Vanderbilt still 9-point favorites heading into the weekend.
So a lot of people don't realize this. Hawaii program was 1 vote away from disbanding the program. I mean, they have some real problems. Now, I do like the fact they're bringing in, former quarterback Timmy Chang to run the program, but they had so many guys transfer out. They were like Wyoming. I mean, a few other teams that just lost to everyone, Nevada. So they're up against it here. They have a transfer quarterback comes in, but he really didn't play much at Washington State. I like what Vanderbilt's doing. They can't compete in the SEC, but I think they're going to run the ball. They have some receivers that can make some plays here. It's that high for a reason. I like Vanderbilt. I think they win this game here, 38-24.
And then the final one we're going to be talking about before we get to your game of the week, which is also happening this weekend, North Texas and UTEP. Depending on where you go, I've seen this game even, but I've also seen a lot of it with North Texas -1. That's where it's been for the longest time. That's the line we're going to play heading into tomorrow.
Big rematch game for UTEP. They need to get, they need to win this one. If they do, it sets up for a real nice season, and they got to run the football. Barely ran the ball last year in that game for over barely 100 yards. So if they can get the running game going, some play action, and also hit the backs out of the backfield, that's where you can do some damage. I mean, it's crazy what North Texas did at the end of the season last year, beating UTSA. I mean, thrashed them 48-23. They ended the season really well, except for their bowl game where they lost to Miami of Ohio. But I think the key is to play with a lead. We've seen UTEP when they have to play from behind, they have trouble. They're a different team when they have the lead and the defense can come after the quarterback. So I think they're the right side here. It's a pick 'em game here either way. I like them to win this game here. I think they win this game and should be something like 27-20. So I'm going to take UTEP here to get the season off on the right foot.
Lee, when it comes to hometown advantage, UTEP expects maybe a sellout tomorrow if all things go right. What does a hometown audience really give you when it comes to picking games?
It's important, especially in college football. UTEP hasn't had that luxury of saying a home field advantage, but I think this might be one of the rare times where as long as, like I said, they just don't, in the first couple series, things go wrong. So key is, like I said, don't turn the ball over in the first quarter. If you can take North Texas out of their game, they have problems here. If you give them confidence, you turn the ball over the first possession, you're behind the 8 ball. But I like what I see in UTEP. Could be a special year.
Before we get to what you've got at ParamountSports.com, give me your thoughts on realignment and what you saw over the summer with USC and UCLA now looking to go to the Big Ten. Still wondering what's going to happen with Notre Dame and potentially the Pac-12 fallout as it's all shaken down.
I don't like it at all. I mean, Are you going to watch a UCLA game against Rutgers on a Friday night unless you're betting it? No. So if they get the Oregon Ducks and then they move in Washington, then it can be maybe okay. I think eventually what this is going to lead to, probably 4 or 5 years down the road, you're going to have probably 50, 60 schools not in the NCAA for football, playing for, an 18 playoff. Whereas the teams, unfortunately, like UTEP and Rice and my old school, Texas State, will probably stay in the NCAA and play a little lower level. But I don't think it's good. I like rivalries. I think when Nebraska left and some of these other schools, when SEC added Arkansas and Missouri, it was not a good move at all.
I hear you. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, UTEP and Texas State, a little home and home in 2028 and 2032. How about that?
I saw that. I might have to come visit El Paso, or you might have
Yes.
to meet me in San Marcos.
Deal. One or the other will make that work. Hey,
Okay.
Meanwhile, football season's right around the corner in the NFL. We've got preseason games, college football this weekend. What do you have going on right now at ParamountSports.com, Lee?
Well, if you've never been with me before, how about this? 5 weeks. You can get from tomorrow, week 0, through September 30th, 5 weeks, $397. So works out to $80 a weekend. Love to have you on board. Generally, when we got a full slate, 10 to 12, 10 to 13 games a week. No one better. All my games. Look on the website. We put up everything, so there's no secrets. No one telling you hitting 75, 80%, but we've won 27 of the 29 years. ParamountSports.com or 800-400-9741.
Good job as always, Lee. Looking forward to a great season. Thanks for kicking it off with us here today on the show.
Okay. See you, Steve. See you, Adrian.